Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Representatives Baum. Here. Camper. Cochran. Here. Faison. Garrett. Here. Hawk. Hazelwood. Here. Hicks.
Here.
Love. Moon. Here. Shaw. Here. Whitson. Williams. Here. Chairman Hicks.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Jumped the gun on Representative Tim Hicks. Sorry about that. All right, I would like to call the Finance, Ways and Means Subcommittee to order for February the 28th, 2024. Are there any announcements or personal orders before we do begin? Leader Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to welcome. Today is Victim Witness Coordinator Day on the Hill, and so they are here. Many elected DAs are here as well, and so Chris Stanford with the 31st District, Courtney Lynch with the 12th District, Stacey Edmondson, 21st District, and Brent Cooper with the 22nd. So we want to welcome you here today. Thank you for what you do.
All right, any other announcements or personal orders? Hearing none and seeing none, we have a total of 13 bills on our calendar today, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Item number 1 on our calendar is House Bill 2019 by Speaker Pro Tem Marsh. You have a motion and a second, and it looks like you have an amendment that rewrites the bill. Let's see, Speaker, is that 014275?
That's correct.
All right, we have a motion second on the amendment. You have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and get this amendment put on. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on Amendment Drafting Code 014275 onto House Bill 2019. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill concerns our county mayors. The intent of this proposed legislation change is twofold. It promotes equality through ensuring the same budget protections afforded to other full-time elected officials, as well as strengthening the county mayor's ability to execute the duties of their office. And the amendment just narrows down what their expenses can be for, which is their personal secretaries and their just their office expenses. With that, I'll answer any questions.
All right, Speaker, thank you very much. Are there any, you've heard the discussion, you've heard the description, any discussion? Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for understanding, is this amount in the amendment, is that for each mayor or that's statewide? I'm just trying to understand that.
That's each mayor.
Okay, thank you.
All right, further discussion on House Bill 2019. Representative Moon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To the sponsor, I think some folks are assuming that this would be an increase each year. If you took the midpoint, the average of the 5, and went with the average, you could actually decrease the budget each year. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I agree 100%. And I talked to our esteemed physical review people, and they don't see it that way, though. So I'll have to go with them.
All right, Speaker Marsh, thank you. Further discussion. All right, as the sponsor has alluded to, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2019. So we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2019 will go behind the budget. Thank you, Speaker. All right, that brings us to item number 2. Item number 2 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2188 by Leader Lamberth. You have a motion and a second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Mr. Chairman, this is a very straightforward bill that deals with some of our sentencing credits that are available to prisoners and how they are applied. I do know that this has other fiscal impacts. I won't take up a ton of the committee's time today, but this is extremely important legislation that I hope will come out of here later on.
All right, members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2188. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on moving House Bill 2188 on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'm pleased. I mean,
all right, hold on one.
Well, objection.
All right. Let's back up here. House Bill 2188 does have a cost associated with it. You just about got out.
Well, so close, Mr. Chairman. I
So-
was hopeful down here. I mean,
Due to the cost associated with it, we will have to place it behind the budget and consider that at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2188 goes behind the budget.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. And hopefully maybe down the road somewhere we can get to the point where you were headed. But you just became my favorite chairman, and that's for dang certain. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Yeah. All right, members, we are going to go out of order just for a second. We're going to go to item number 5. Item number 5 is going to be House Bill 1795 by Representative Capley. You have a motion and a second. And it looks like you have an amendment that rewrites the bill. It's drafting code 012743. Is that correct?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me double check. I believe you are correct, sir. 012743.
Yes, that's what I have. We have a motion second on the amendment. You have a motion and a second. It rewrites the bill. Let's go ahead and get this on if that's okay. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on amendment drafting code 012743 onto House Bill 1795. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Back on the bill as amended. Sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. House Bill 1795 establishes the Natural Disaster Relief Program, which would be a state grant program to aid counties that have experienced a natural disaster. With that, Mr. Chairman, I stand ready.
All right. Thank you, Representative Capley. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1795. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 1795, so we will have to place it behind the budget, consider it at a later date. Without objection, behind the budget.
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Chairman.
All right, members, let's go back to item number 3. Item number 3 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2692 by Chairman Doggett. Do you have a motion to second, sir? You are recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I've got an amendment, code 13874.
Okay, it is traveling, so you're in the proper posture and you're ready to move forward,
All
sir.
right, thank you so much. House Bill 2682 creates the Debbie and Marie Domestic Violence Protection Act. Now, this bill helps victims of domestic violence know when their perpetrator is nearby in cases involving the most serious domestic violence and streamlines the process to get victims the quickest help when a violation occurs. Bill focuses on the pretrial time frame, which is a very vulnerable and potentially deadly time in a victim's life. Especially, this legislation requires a GPS device to be worn by the defendant as a condition of bond when charged with aggravated assault. That means serious bodily injury, using or displaying a deadly weapon, or strangling or attempted strangulation. This is not for all domestic violence, just the most serious and just as a condition of bond. There's also a provision in this bill that for this requirement to be waived if the court or magistrate finds the offender no longer poses a threat. An example of that would be the victim has moved or left the state. One of the big important things is that this is 24/7 real-time monitoring that these victims will be have access to, and these zones of where the offender can go are also set by the court.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Doggett. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion again on House Bill 2692? Chairman Whitson.
Thank you, Chairman. And again, Chairman Doggett, thanks for bringing this. For your information, I was coming in the other morning and listening to NPR, and Chairman Doggett was on there talking about the importance of this bill, and it was really a great report. And I tell you, I hope we can find the funding to make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. I do too.
Thank you, Chairman Whitson. All right. Further discussion on House Bill 2692. Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with House Bill 2692, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, brings us to item number 4. Item number 4 on our calendars, House Bill 1843 by Chairman Reagan. Do we have a motion to second? You have a motion to second. Sir, I believe there is an amendment that makes the bill, and I have drafting code 014257. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
All right, we have a motion to second on the amendment. We have a motion to second on the amendment. Any discussion? We're going to get this amendment put onto the bill, then we'll have discussion. So, but is there any discussion on the amendment for right now? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on Amendment 014257 onto House Bill 1843. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Back on the bill as amended. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Before I launch into an explanation of the bill, let me say thank you to our legal staff. If you look at your copy of the amendments on here, you'll see some, and there I'll tell you there's some that aren't showing. That was an effort to try to get agreement from all the parties concerned. I think we have arrived, but I do want to thank legal for going to all that extra work. With that said, House Bill 1843 is about protecting our state and our industries. Numerous congressional reports have indicated the same thing over and over again. The Chinese communists are directing Chinese companies to take advantage of their U.S. counterparts. Chinese agents steal and replicate American intellectual property. The House Committee on China in January of 24 found that China was actively gathering intel on critical U.S. infrastructure. The FBI director reported China is planning attacks on civilian infrastructure in the event of a conflict. This bill is about prohibiting tax credits or other incentives to companies based in the U.S. state or that are in the U.S. State Department's countries of concern, of which China is one, of course. I'll be glad to go over that list with you. By discouraging Chinese investment, we discourage Chinese access to valuable research and valuable infrastructure. This is one of several bills I had aimed in this course, which you'll be hearing about later, I hope. With that explanation, I stand ready to answer questions.
All right, Chairman Reagan, thank you very much. Members, any discussion on House Bill 1843? All right, hearing none and seeing none, House Bill 1843 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it.
Just a minute, sir. My note doesn't say a cost. Are you looking at the fiscal note from February 25th? I don't have a right one.
Yeah, there is another fiscal impact on there on the fiscal memo for 14257. So we will have to place it behind the budget.
All right, thank you. I'll get the correct note.
Yep, we will have to place it behind the budget to consider at a later date because of this cost. However, since the bill has been calendared 3 times, it will be placed on a special calendar to be published with our final calendar. And again, that's pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 1843 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. Without objection, so moved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and
All right,
committee.
thank you, Chairman Reagan. All right. That brings us to item number 6. Item number 6 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 2205 by Representative Barrett. We have a motion to second. You have a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. House Bill 2205 addresses a situation we have with municipal courts in Tennessee that have concurrent jurisdiction with general sessions jurisdiction. And so the district attorneys general's office are having to staff those offices right now at their own cost. This bill will require those municipal courts to staff that for them or provide funding for that.
All right. Thank you, Representative Barrett, for this description. Members, any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2205, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 2205 moves to full finance. Thank you, sir. All right, that brings us to item number 7. Item number 7 on our calendars, House Bill 1807 by Representative Butler. You have a motion to second. Sir, you're recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, committee. This legislation right here seeks to improve the inspection process and expedite that process for state entities inspecting new and renovated construction and bringing the certificate of occupancy inspection to be done within 5 days of the request and all other inspections within 3 days of the request. And with that, I renew my motion. Stand for questions.
All right. Thank you, Representative Butler. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 1807. Any discussion? Hearing none and seeing none. House Bill 1807 does have a cost associated with it, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 1807 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 8 on our calendar is House Bill 1725 by Representative Gant. There's Representative Gant. We have a motion to second. Sir, you are recognized for a brief description on House Bill 1725.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. This is a bill brought by our treasurer, David Lillard, and the amendment that is, I think, is traveling with the bill. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Chairman? And all this is doing is requires a portion of the appropriated funds for the length of service award program known as LOSAP for volunteer firefighters in each fiscal year to be used to pay expenses incurred for administration of the program.
That's it.
All right. Thank you, Representative Gant. Members, you've heard the description. Any discussion? House Bill 1725. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 1725, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 1725 moves on to full finance.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Gant. All right, members, that brings us to item number 9 on our calendar. Item number 9 on the calendar is House Bill 909 by Representative Gillespie. You have a motion to second, and you are recognized. It looks like there is an amendment, and it does not rewrite. So let's go ahead and get the amendment, and we'll discuss that. Drafting code 014378, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we have a motion second on the amendment. You have a motion and a second. All right, go ahead and describe that amendment for us if you don't care.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. All this amendment does is rewrites the date to this year.
Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, seeing none, we're now voting on the amendment drafting code 014378 on to House Bill 909. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. This bill is pretty simple. It's really just about fairness. Right now, if you're a reserve law enforcement officer in the state and you're killed in line of duty, your family does not receive any benefits. And this rectifies that by allowing 5 installments of $50,000 to the state of your family. And with that, I renew my motion.
All right, thank you, Representative Gillespie. Members, any discussion on House Bill 909? Hearing none and seeing none, there is a cost associated with this piece of legislation, so we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. However, since it has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on a special calendar to be published with our, we'll place it on a special calendar to be placed on the final calendar. And again, that's pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 909 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. All those without objection, so moved. Behind the budget. Tell you what, it's been one of those days, it seems like. Representative Whitson.
Thank you, Chairman. I know I'm out of order, but I need to recognize someone in the back of the room there. My wife, Pam, she's down here for Disability Day with my daughter-in-law advocating for children with special needs and especially the Down syndrome community. So she's here.
All right. We are ready for item number 10. Item number 10 on our calendars, House Bill 2145 by Representative Martin. I don't know that he has made it in just yet. So we will, without objection, roll this one to the hill without objection. So moved. And let's move on to item number 11. Item number 11 is going to be by Representative Garrett. Do we have a motion second on House Bill 2715? You've got a motion second. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This piece of legislation is adding a trial court judge to the 18th Judicial District, which is in Sumner County. And I was also pleased to receive a funding letter from the administration. So I hope to seek your support as we have, as some other districts across the state have a need for a new judge. And this will provide a much needed caseload for a new judge to act upon. So I would ask for your support.
All right. Thank you, Representative Garrett. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 2715. Any discussion? Leader Camper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, was this based on the caseload study that took place, and as a result of that, we need to add this extra judicial district?
Representative Garrett.
That's right.
Thank you.
All right. Further discussion? All right. Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on House Bill 2715, moving on to full finance. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. House Bill 2715 moves on to full finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you. All right. Let's move on to item number 12. Item number 12 on our calendar is going to be House Bill 886 by Chairman Hawk. You have a motion and a second. It looks like Chairman, you have an amendment drafting code 014512. Is that correct? Is that the amendment, sir?
That is accurate, and thank you for research and bearing we have sent an abundance of amendatory language, but that is the amendment that will create the task study we request. So yes, that is the amendment.
All right. Thank you very much. So hold on one. All right, we have a motion and a second on the amendment, drafting code 014512. You've heard the description. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none and seeing none, we're now voting on Amendment Drafting Code 014512 on to House Bill 886. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back on the bill as amended. Chairman Hawk, anything else you'd like to add?
If I could, just a few comments. We've been discussing this for a little while and actually had vendors comp return to the budget document a couple of budgets ago. It since has come back out, but what this is, it's a practice of allowing merchants to keep a small portion of the sales tax that they collect over time. This was eliminated 25 years ago, and we've been trying to work out how to restore this vendor compensation over the years. Since the 90s, late 90s, the collection costs through swipe fees and other things for our sales tax collectors has gone up and up and up, and it's just become a cost and a burden to them. So we're trying to figure out a way to return vendors comp in a reasonable way to folks who collect the largest tax revenue for the state of Tennessee, being our sales tax. That being said, the amendment will create a TASER study. It has passed the Senate, and I understand we're about to go to a TASER study calendar that we're going to have, but it's passed the Senate, and hopefully this committee can eventually reach an affirmative view on this bill, Chairman and members. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chairman Hawk. Members, you've heard the description of House Bill 886 as it was amended. Any discussion? All right. As the sponsor stated, we will be having a TASER study calendar. So we will be placing House Bill 886 without objection. We'll be placing it on the calendar. However, since this bill has been calendared 3 times, we will need to place it on the special calendar to be published with our final calendar. And again, that's pursuant to our House rules. So without objection, House Bill 886 will go on the special calendar to be published with the final calendar. Without objection, so moved. All right, members, let's back up to item number 10. I've seen Representative Martin come in. Item number 10 is House Bill 2145 by Representative Martin. Do we have a motion and a second? Sir, you are recognized for a brief description.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee. Across the state, there are people who have used license plate flippers to conceal their identity from the law and avoid paying the use of roads which implement plate readers. So in Tennessee, there is no law preventing the selling or purchasing of license plate flippers, and with the implementation of choice lanes in the decades to come, bad actors could use these flippers in Tennessee. What this bill does is 2 things. It makes it a Class B misdemeanor for purchasing or possessing a license plate flipper, and it makes a Class C misdemeanor for selling or manufacturing a license plate flipper. And with that, I'll stand ready to answer any questions.
All right, Representative Martin, thank you very much for this description. Members, any discussion on House Bill 2145? Chairman Williams.
Thank you. Does it flip the license plate down? Is that what it does?
Representative Martin.
James Bond.
Okay.
So it could flip it where you could be backed up and have your plate of some stolen plate if you backed up to a store to rob them, so to speak. And then the camera of the owner of the store is seeing some stolen plate. And then when you take off, you flip it and they're no longer looking for that stolen Mississippi tag or whatever. But
wow. Okay. Thank you very much.
Interesting. Further discussion and further discussion. All right. It does have a cost. House Bill 2145 does have a cost associated with it. So we will have to place it behind the budget and consider it at a later date. So without objection, House Bill 2145 goes behind the budget.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. All right, members, that brings us to item number 1 on the addendum calendar, and that is HJR 859. We will have to place 859 to go on to the constitutional amendment calendar. So without objection, HJR 859 will go on the constitutional amendment calendar. Without objection, so moved. All right. I think that completes our calendar for today. Do we have any further business coming before the committee? I see none. Without objection, we stand adjourned. No objection? Objection, we're adjourned.